Hi, my name is Cindy Toe. I'm a principal principal designer on the game. So yeah.
So Cindy, what are you showing here at Summer Games Fest with Remnant 2?
Yeah, so here we have a demo of Yeisha. So we have different folks coming in to play both single player, but all the way up to the 3-player co-op experience. So bring one buddy, bring two buddies, and just, hop into the game and have a good time.
As a level designer, what opened up for you? What it opened up for you creatively for the sequel?
Yes. So in the first game, it was really great to see the different worlds and the different stories we could tell. And we asked ourselves, what's the 2.0 version of Remnant? And something we really wanted to push on was having different stories we could tell and different experiences for each person. So even though we had some essence of procedural generation in the first one, we really wanted to take that 2.0 version for this game. So in this case, when you're playing just Yeisha, you have one person who's experiencing one storyline, but your buddy next to you, even though they're playing Yeisha, could be experiencing a completely different storyline in addition to the different events that could occur in that. So how it translates with level design is, hey, I woke up in this weird prison, and then your other friend's like, what are you talking about? Like, I woke up in this beautiful lush forest. I'm like, I'm not in the forest yet. What do you mean? And so just creating that narrative and that bonding experience between you and a buddy, or even your own experience if you're replaying the game over or re-rolling different campaigns, and just really pushing our procedural generation. Yeah.
So just to reiterate, so doesn't matter if you're far longer than the story than your friend is, you can still play together at any time.
Absolutely. So similar to the first game, each person is a host of their own game. So if I'm playing and you want to join me at any point in my game, you can feel free to jump in, and vice versa. So it just allows, and that goes back to the procedurally generated events as well, because I may roll something that you were wanting or you hadn't seen before. I'm like, hey, Greg, do you want to just hop in my game? I just rolled this weird heart entity thing. Do you want to go beat it up? And you're like, yeah, let's do it. So
talk about some of the new archetypes you have in Remnant 2.
So we've introduced archetypes into Remnant 2, unlike the previous game where you were free to build different loadouts and things like that. And the players really loved having all those guns and mods and stuff, and we thought, what's the 2.0 version for players? Oh, well, let's make some archetypes and classes that people can really identify themselves with and create really interesting builds. So now we have different archetypes, a popular one being the handler, because again, who doesn't love a dog companion? And it's both friendly for beginner players, but also veteran players can really enjoy that experience as well in micromanaging their pet companion. We have stuff like the Challenger, which was recently announced. So for those who really love melee or up-close style shotgun, we really wanted to capture that essence in the Challenger. So that's just a couple of the archetypes that we've shown already, and definitely many more to come.
Who's your favorite archetype so far that you've talked about?
Oh my goodness, they talk about who doesn't love the handler? I personally have a dog, so I love being able to feel like I'm running around with a doggy friend, and and also just another person to pull aggro if I'm playing solo. It's a really great way to tackle a lot of solo campaigns. So yeah.
So kind of paint a picture of what it's like, because I'm sure it was no easy decision for your studio to decide to do a sequel rather than just update the current game. Talk about that thought process, how you guys talked about that and landed on deciding that you're going to make a brand new game instead of just updating the first one like crazy.
Sure. I can't disclose too much detail into that, but I would say that when Remnant from the Ashes came out, we weren't sure if it was going to be a success or not. It being a new IP, being something that the studio was really passionate about, but we just don't know how the players were going to receive it. And before you know it, it was a hit, and the community loved it. We built a great community behind it. It's the type of game that you can play by yourself, however challenging you want, and bring in a buddy, and then from that it just really fostered this sense of community amongst the players. And we thought, we could really deliver something bigger and better. And I think we're so passionate about the game ourselves. A lot of us, even though we make the game, we play the game ourselves. I've put my own set of retail hours into it personally. So that being said, we want to make sure we started on a fresh ground, a fresh foundation, taking in what we learned from the first game and building something even bigger and better and providing players with that 2.0 experience. Yeah.
As a level designer, I'm just curious, as technology evolves, what does technology open up for you creatively? And we're now in the Xbox Series X and S and the PlayStation 5 era. PCs are getting more powerful, it seems like every other month. Like, what does it open up for you creatively when you're making levels? I'm assuming you do the gray boxing stuff, right? But does it open up anything creatively outside of that?
I would say technology itself hasn't fundamentally changed level design or level design principles. We do a lot of collaboration with art and with combat. So being a level designer, you're really that bridge between, hey, how do we make this pretty, to how do we make this feel good and play well and be functional, and how do we make that really grand experience and marry all these like design principles together. And that's like the job of the level designer, right, is to curate the experience and being sort of like that, the person who helps like lead the crowd and put it all together, right?
It's a big team. It's a big
team, definitely. So you're having to, make different people happy, bring all their ideas together, and then curate the physical experience in which all that takes place. So technology itself hasn't necessarily affected that too much fundamentally, but yeah. I hope that answers the question.
For you personally, is it harder to make a procedurally generated map or a handcrafted map?
Ooh, that's a tough question. So,
what do you prefer and what's more challenging, I guess, is the two-parter.
Yeah, okay. So when it comes to procedurally generated levels and more handcrafted levels, well, first I want to say in Remnant 2, we really pushed both of those definitions and also played on both the strengths and weaknesses of both types of level design and put them together more. So in this case, you still have a lot of elements that are procedurally generated, like as I run through Yasha, run through the jungle, the way you path from one place to A to B may be slightly different the next time I play, but I will hit these very key points and key points of interest that are very statically driven. So like, oh, I've seen this temple before, and the secret is over here, tuck to the left and hide under, crouch under, go through the bush, and oh, there it is, right? So there's still that static element to that. And so we were really trying to play up that notion of both level design archetypes and push them in a way that it balances the weaknesses of one another with the strengths. So, yeah.
Sydney, when does Remnant 2 come out and what platforms will it be on?
Yes, it'll be coming out on July 25th on Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 5, and you can find it on PC, Epic, Steam, the works. So, yeah.